Did you know the average person spends nearly 90,000 hours working over their lifetime? And for many people, it's actually much more than that. That's nearly 1/3 of your life from age 20 to 65. Now imagine if all of those hours are filled with stress, frustration, and burnout. That's a long time to feel miserable, and for many of us, that's the current reality. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. With the right mindset, strategies, and toolkit, you can transform your work from something that you currently dread to something that you look forward to going to every single day. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Peak Life. I'm Brandon, a mechanical engineer where I lead teams and have a passion for helping people just like you live a better, more fulfilling life. Throughout my career, leading teams, solving complex problems, I've learned that there's a big difference in how you can approach work. There's a way that you can do it so that work life doesn't suck. In fact, it's a place that we all want, something where we can grow, thrive, and feel fulfilled. And that's why I started this channel, Peak Life, to help young professionals like you design, build, and live your own peak life. Today I'm sharing 5 powerful lessons from some of the top books all about work life and what actually motivates us. These books have helped me tremendously. I've gone from a place where work could be extremely stressful and something that I'm not looking forward to something that I feel proud of every single day. So if you want to take control of your work, reduce your stress, and find more joy in the day-to-day grind, then you're in the right place, and watch to the end of this video to get all the 5 top strategies from the best books on the subject. Let's dive in. First up, let's overview the books that we're pulling these lessons from. They are 1, The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. This book is a science-based guide to using happiness as a tool for success. Book number 2, we have Essentialism by Greg McKeown, which is a roadmap for doing less but better. Moving on to the 3rd book, we have Atomic Habits by James Clear, the ultimate guide to habit forming and behavioral change. And then we have one of my favorite books of all time, Deep Work by Cal Newport, which shares the strategy for cutting out distractions and replacing it with time to do meaningful work. And finally, number 5, we have Drive by Daniel Pink, which is a book all about the surprising truth of what motivates us. Each of these books have their own unique insights, but even better than that, they all share some powerful themes. So in this video, I want to collapse those themes from book to book and share what the top lessons are throughout them. Let's get started. Lesson 1, prioritize happiness for productivity. Because happiness isn't just a byproduct of success. Instead, it's a prerequisite. This is the core idea in the book, The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. Research shows that when we're happy, our brain is actually better at solving complex problems, creative thinking, and staying focused. But happiness doesn't just happen. You have to build it intentionally. Atomic Habits by James Clear reinforces this with actionable steps like stacking habits. For example, if every morning you start your day like I do with a cup of coffee, you can stack a habit to this, such as expressing gratitude for 3 things that you're grateful for. This way it doesn't take any extra time, but instead you're stacking a new beneficial habit with something that's already ingrained. And here's the kicker. When you prioritize happiness, it creates a ripple effect. Your positivity rubs off on coworkers and even your family, which then surrounds you with more happiness, which allows you to become happier and thereby more successful. It's a small change that I've seen in my own life lead to a massive impact. On to lesson number 2, focus on what matters most. Essentialism and deep work both teach us the same thing, and that is that you have to focus on what matters most. In our life, there's constant bombardment for our attention, our time, and our focus, and there'll be more of it than we can ever handle. So it's our job to figure out what truly matters and what doesn't. In Essentialism, Greg introduces the great idea of the disciplined pursuit of less. This means actively identifying what matters most to you in this moment, the vital few, and then saying no to the rest, the trivial many. Something that I try to practice every single day is just asking myself this question. If I could only focus on one thing today, the one thing that will move the needle most, what is it? Meanwhile, the book, Deep Work, takes this idea even further. Cal Newport explains how shallow work, like responding to endless emails, checking Slack countless times, and hitting that refresh button on our phone. These activities often eat up most of our day, most of our focus, and most of our energy without producing any meaningful results, which then leaves us no time for the meaningful tasks. His solution is simple. You schedule blocks of time for deep work, where you disconnect completely from interruptions and notifications, and focus on just that one most important high-value project. I found that if I can protect even 2 hours of my day for deep work, usually first thing in the morning, that I feel more fulfilled about my workday. And the days that I don't do this, I often feel like I didn't accomplish anything meaningful. Lesson 3, build habits that stick. Because success isn't about willpower. Instead, it's about habits. And this is where the great book Atomic Habits by James Clear really shines. He explains how small habits, done consistently over time, lead to incredible results. For example, instead of saying, I'm going to write a 300-page book, start with, I'm going to write 100 words a day. It's manageable, and as Clear says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So by starting small with something that you can maintain every day, you'll see this compounding where your success will multiply and multiply. And there's a connection to the book, The Happiness Advantage. When you make positive habits enjoyable, like celebrating small wins, you're going to be far more likely to stick with them. Remember, all it takes is a tiny adjustment over time to lead to incredible results. On to lesson number 4, find your motivation. Motivation can be tricky. Some days you're fired up, ready to take on the world, and other days you just aren't. That's where Drive by Daniel Pink comes in. Pink explains that true motivation comes from 3 things: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy means having control over how you work. Mastery is about improving a skill that matters to you. And purpose? Well, that's knowing that your work actually matters, that it has a significance. One way I've applied this to my own team is by giving them more ownership over the projects that they work on. When they feel empowered, their motivation skyrockets. And the nice thing is, so does the quality of their work. A key to this is to tell your team what they're doing and why it matters, and then let them figure out how to do it. And finally, lesson number 5 is to protect your time and energy like your life depends on it, because ultimately it does. This is a reoccurring theme in the books Deep Work, Essentialism, and even Atomic Habits. We all have the same amount of hours in a day, but how we use them is up to us to decide. If you're always saying yes to other people's priorities, that means that you have less time to say yes to your own. One strategy I love for this is time blocking. And that's something that I was taught in the book Deep Work. You need to set specific times for specific tasks and treat these as non-negotiables. And you can do the same thing for breaks and downtime. Because when you know that you have a break coming up and that you can actually enjoy it, you're going to be more focused in the time that you're doing work. But also don't forget about energy management. Small habits like getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, and keeping physical activity as a priority will help give you more energy throughout your day so that you're not feeling drained when you have to focus. These things can make a huge difference in how much you get done, how you feel doing it, and the quality of your work. So there you have it, 5 powerful lessons from what I think are the top 5 books that will help you empower your life to live a better work-life balance. You want to prioritize happiness, focus on what matters, build habits that stick, find your motivation, and protect your time and energy. Now, a question for you. Which one of these lessons or these books resonate most with you? Or do you have a favorite book that's helped your work life outside of the list that I recommended? I would love to hear down in the comments. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to get more content about how we can design, build, and live our own peak life. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one up here, which is all about creating your next year that's going to be the best year ever. Thanks, and we'll see you there.